Harris Innovation, and I'm going to do something that I don't know if I've ever done or don't often do, and that is show you some products that are in development, some things that are probably pretty close to coming to market that we're working on, and I may, and I'm up here doing a camping video too, so as part of that I may show a little detail of some of these things. And so anyway, but this particular clip here will be, you know, kind of the pertinent information of what we got going on here. And so starting out with, I've got this little disc right here that fits right in my pocket very nicely. I've been using a variation of this for starting about maybe darn near 2 years ago, and I've been carrying this one. I've tweaked it a couple of times, but essentially I've carried this one for over a year. And what it is it's a bank line dispenser. This will hold, this is number 12, so it holds a 105 pound test, and it'll hold, you know, it'll hold over 100 feet on here. I actually haven't measured it lately. But we'll have all those figures for you before we come to market with it. But it's made out of Kydex. You can make one yourself if you want to, but anyway, this diameter actually fits in the bottom of any of our cylindrical gear bags. So in your poncho bag, and your tarp bag, survival kit bag, any of that sort of thing, this thing can drop right in the bottom of it, and it's about a ½ inch thick, and it's very tough and durable. I mean, I've been beating the heck out of it, but it works really nice, because anytime we'll show you some little clips using the stuff, but anytime you need it, you just pull it out of here. You put your fingers kind of in that middle section and spool off whatever you need, or, well, I don't know if this is in the picture or not. I think it is. I mean, you can even put it on a branch of a tree, and you can spool it off of there, and so it makes it really nice and convenient. It's very simple, very straightforward. No other bells and whistles on it. I've experimented with putting cutter blades and other kind of dispenser reels and all that kind of thing, and I just come back to this. It's, you know me, I mean, it's simple, simplifying survival, you know, simple and straightforward, works well, you know, really nothing to go wrong with it. It's got a slight radius here on the edges, which helps just kind of keep your cord in your cord inside. What I do to lock it in there is I just pull back one side and then pull it around. It pulls it kind of to the side of the rest of the spool, and that holds it in place just fine. I had made some models before where I drilled holes that you could put it through and all that, and that was just kind of a pain. So again, back to being simple, just do that. So bank line dispenser, that'll be coming up. I'm not sure. We're probably going to go ahead and offer it. We're definitely going to include it in some deluxe kits, like deluxe poncho kits or special editions kits or something like that. Alright, so if you've ever watched our videos over the years, you know the one thing that we've showed you is several videos on how you can take two ponchos and you can link them together or connect them together to make a larger tarp or something like that. And granted, it's not like you know, one solid piece tarp, because it's made up of two pieces. But you know, we've done pretty well. Ben and I have been out before in the late winter, where it's kind of snowy, drizzly rain a little bit. Snapped our two tarps together, our two ponchos together, and you know, made a shelter out of it. It was quite nice and cozy. So I mean, it is doable. The thing I didn't like about the method, and you can use that method on any poncho we've ever made. If you want to go back and watch some of our videos in the PSS, the poncho playlist on YouTube. But you have to flip, one's right side up, one side upside down, around this way, and you can snap them together. So It's not the cutest thing in the world, but it does work. It makes a nice shelter. I mean, it'll keep a lot of elements off if you really need it. But what I've always wanted to do is to make that little process a little better, to make it, you know, a little more effective and everything, and a little easier to do, and to make it so both of your ponchos can be oriented the same way. So I've tried a number of things over the last couple years, and I came up with this. This isn't the bag. It'd probably come in a bag, you know, like this. This is just a tent stake bag from a tarp because we have tons of them. So I wanted to use. So what it is it's a snap strip on a parachute, on a line of parachute cord. And so these snaps right here, they're winged snaps. So there's a snap on both sides. And so you just start at one. You lay your ponchos out, and like one here, we'll show you in a minute. And you just start snapping them together and slide on up to the next set. And when you get to the other end, you've got both tarps snapped together, and they're pretty close together. There's not much of any gap at all. And so that's the mechanical part of holding the ponchos together. And you would be perfectly okay just having this. We'll probably offer this as an independent item. And you can just use that, which makes a quickie little way that will, you know, it'll shelter you up pretty darn good, especially if you're kind of think about how you set up depending on your weather circumstances. You could make just this with two ponchos very doable. And you'd need one of these for every additional poncho, so you could, you know, you could hook 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 together. You can do, if you go back and watch my video, you can do 3 on one side, 3 on the other on an A-frame. I show you how you can overlap that and make that work, so you have a 6 poncho shelter, which is pretty large. But here's the other thing we have right here, and this is our cover strip. So I wanted to have something to give a little bit more weather protection. So this thing's about 5 inches wide. And so it has enough coverage to kind of span where your two ponchos come together. And this will be something, either an optional item probably, or you could get the whole thing as a kit, the connector snaps and the cover, or you could get just the connectors, get the cover separate. What the cover is it's a matching fabric to whatever your ponchos are, and and inside of here we've obtained some very thin Kydex, and we've actually sewn it in here with our sewing machine, and so that strip runs all the way around, which helps give a little bit of strength and support to this thing as it lays out over your two ponchos snapped together. And it's got some little hooks, and it's got tie-out tabs and stuff. Just some. I always like to have some extra stuff, so in case you need to tie it out some other way or whatever. I'd hate to leave people stranded. So anyway, so we're gonna show you here in a moment some details about how we set all this up. And okay, so I've done that. Now you see the other wing of this thing. So one goes to one poncho, the other wing to the other one. We come down to this next one that I just snapped. We do the same thing again, and we just keep on moving down the line here. Alright, so here's my shelter where I've just snapped together two ponchos. These are the long PSSL, 8 feet long, just a little under 5 feet wide. Alright, so we'll get the cover strip out, and maybe I'll show you this. On one end of the cover strip, the Kydex that's in there is folded over right there, and right there. So what that does is make it so that you can, I just throw that over the top, it'll go down the back side. What that does is make it so you can hook this first in right there, and then we go on the back side and we can pull it down. Well, here's the shelter made up. Sleeping room easily for 2 people, plus some gear and that sort of thing. Not bad. Little shelter for two ponchos. It's easy to join them together, and they're pretty decently weatherproof. All right, so what I did here is I rotated the poncho tarp setup by 90 degrees so that we're running lengthwise right to left instead of up and down. And then I pitched this out as this is an open canopy, kind of A-frame canopy. So I mean there's so many ways you can set this up. Now here's where the bank line comes in. I'm going to use that to tie off here. And I usually just use one of those Swedish knots. I use 2 fingers instead of my whole hand. Works good, especially on small stuff. Gives you a little tail you can grab to undo your knot. And you see we just run this out however far we need. And allow a little extra to work with. And we're pretty good. We'll pound us a stake right here. This might be a little tougher going in because the ground's a little drier out here. But just do that. We don't have to pull on it really tight. Just enough to get us going here. Put a taut line hitch in there. I can slide it as needed. This bank line